As one of the reigning kings of the country music scene, Luke Bryan is a comfortable presence in the center of Nashville, where the twang of guitars and the pulse of genuine lyrics characterize the atmosphere. Bryan's career is a monument to the hard effort, genuineness, and a profound passion for the genre that he has put in. He has had a streak of singles that have topped the charts, tours that have been completely sold out, and a charm that has made him a fan favorite. Nevertheless, even when he is at the pinnacle of his fame, there is one country star who he is constantly comparing himself to. This is a friendly opponent who encourages him to be better, more proficient, and more creative. Luke Bryan disclosed the one name that keeps him on his toes with regard to this continuous battle in an interview that was conducted exclusively for him. The name in question is Jason Aldean. Rivalry that has its origins in respect. Despite the fact that the world of country music lives on camaraderie, it is common knowledge that a little bit of rivalry is what drives innovation. That spark comes from Luke Bryan's longtime friend and fellow country music titan, Jason Aldean, who is also a country music legend. "Jason and I go way back," Bryan says as he leans back in his chair and his characteristic grin illuminates the entire room. "We worked our way up in this field together, toiling away in the bars, performing to rooms that were only half full, and dreamt of performing on the most prestigious stages. One thing that has always been a secret between us is something along the lines of, 'All right, man, what are you going to do next?' Their competition is not based on egos or bitterness. Rather, it stems from a shared desire to improve their own craft. In the middle of the 2000s, both artists came into existence, carving out their own distinct paths within a genre that was undergoing tremendous change. Despite the fact that Bryan and Aldean have separate approaches, their careers have followed parallel routes. Bryan is known for his laid-back, beach vibe hits, while Aldean is known for his gritty, rock-infused edge. From the time they signed with Capitol Nashville to the time they headlined stadiums, they have been in a constant state of competition, each one pushing the other to find new ways to create. "Jason has this way of dropping a song that just hits you," Bryan acknowledges. "I couldn't be more impressed. It's like when you hear Dirt Road Anthem, you think to yourself, damn, that's a bold statement. It has the effect of prompting you to return to the drawing board and ask yourself, okay, how can I top that? It is not in a jealous manner, but rather in a way that says, let's keep raising the bar." A game based on numbers. Some of the story can be gleaned from the numbers. There have been 26 #1 singles on the Billboard Country Airplay chart since Bryan released his debut album, I'll Stay Me, in 2007. Hits such as Country Girl, Shake It For Me, and Play It Again have become modern classics. Bryan has built up these singles since his debut album. Aldean, on the other hand, has 27 songs that have reached #1 on the charts, with songs such as She's Country and My Kinda Party dominating the radio. Despite the fact that both discographies are such a shining example of consistency, Bryan maintains that the battle is not solely about chart places. He breaks out in a chuckle and says, "It's not like we're sitting there counting each other's #1s. However, you can't help but draw attention to the fact that the other person is killing it. If Jason's CD gets out, I will be listening to it. Currently, I am analyzing his production choices and the songs that he is selecting to use. It's like, alright, he really went for it with that guitar riff. I guess I'll have to find a way to improve my performance." Their spirit of competition was not limited to the realm of music. Each of these musicians has established a successful career that includes hefty sponsorship deals, branded bars in Nashville, and extensive tour schedules. Both the High Noon Neon Tour by Aldean and the What Makes You Country Tour by Bryan were enormously successful tours, each bringing in millions of dollars in revenue from ticket sales. Bryan explains that they are constantly making jokes about who has the larger bus or the stage setup that is the most outrageous. However, it is pure love. It is his family. This competition is so captivating because it serves as a source of inspiration for both of them. Bryan recalls a time in his career when he was encouraged to take risks by Aldean's daring attempt to include hip-hop elements into Dirt Road Anthem. Bryan was inspired to take artistic risks. Bryan claims, "That song was a game changer. And he is right. It opened my eyes to the fact that you do not have to make something that feels new while still feeling like me. For his part, Aldean has mentioned that Bryan has had a significant influence on him. Aldean voiced his admiration for Bryan's capacity to connect with audiences through his high-energy concerts in an interview that took place in 2018. According to Aldean, Luke possesses a talent that allows him to transform a stadium into a place that feels like a backyard bonfire. Because of this, I've been forced to consider how I interact with the audience and how I go about telling my story on stage. Because of this reciprocal inspiration, some of the most unforgettable events in the history of country music have occurred. The synergy between them and their common dedication to the genre is demonstrated through their collaborations, such as the duet, "The Only Way I Know" that they performed in 2013 with Eric Church. Bryan thinks back on the song and says, "That song was us saying, 'This is who we are.' Guys from a little town that put in a lot of effort and are passionate about what we do." On the other hand, even when we are singing together, there is a certain edge that says, "All right, don't let him outshine you." Being honest about it. Bryan and Aldean both have a grounded demeanor, which is a feature that fans find endearing despite the success they have achieved. It is Bryan's belief that their competition has helped him remain modest. "You can't get too comfortable when you've got someone like Jason out there," he says. "You can't afford to be confident. When you start to believe that you are the most popular thing in town," he releases a song that tells you, "No, you still have work to do," and you realize that you are wrong. Additionally, their friendship has endured trials in both their personal and professional lives. Bryan has 2 sons, and Aldean has 4 children, so they have relied on each other for assistance in a variety of situations, including navigating the pressures of celebrity and juggling family life between the two of them. According to Bryan, there have been times when we've thought to ourselves, "Man, this industry is really challenging." But we are able to pick each other up. That is what differentiates this from simply competing with other people. Our mutual goal is to achieve victory. The prospects for the rivalry in the future. Bryan and Aldean continue to be at the forefront of the country music market, despite the fact that new musicians such as Morgan Wallen and Lainey Wilson are shaking things up in the industry. The competition between them is not yet done, according to Bryan's hints. "I'm in the studio as well," he replies, his eyes lighting up with excitement. "Jason is working on new music," he says. "After listening to a few of his tunes, I can confidently state that I am not going to be sleeping on him. It's going to be a truly monumental event." There are reports circulating regarding the possibility of new albums and tours being released by both musicians in 2026, so fans may anticipate more fireworks from them. The next project that Bryan is working on, according to him, will reflect his roots while also exploring with new sounds. "I can't help but wonder, what would Jason do in this situation? I am not trying to imitate him, but rather to push myself. In the event that he is heading to the left, I might go to the right, simply to watch who arrives first, leaving behind a tradition of rivalry and companionship." The competition between Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean is more than just a topic of conversation. It is the impetus behind some of the most outstanding music in contemporary country music. They have been forced to take risks, cultivate relationships with their fans, and reimagine what it means to be a country star in the 21st century as a result of their friendly competition. Everything is straightforward for Bryan. "Jason makes me better. Hope that I am able to do the same for him." A fresh song concept is rumbling around in Bryan's thoughts as he makes his way back to the recording studio as the sun begins to drop over Nashville. It is likely that Aldean is doing the same thing somewhere else in the city. Now that the race has begun, country music is even more enjoyable than it was before.